What is poppin' fantasy people? It is your boy John with the catch. You already know what time it is. We are running another mock draft. I have got a 12-team league going on, PPR scoring format, and we are picking from the 12th overall selection. So, super stoked to run through one of these other mock drafts with you guys today. If you do find this enjoyable and or entertaining, and or helpful in any way whatsoever, please go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe for more future content like this, and let me know in the comments down below what type of mock drafts are going to be the most helpful for you in your personal fantasy football season. So in this draft, I am going to try and run through one of these strategies of super stacking an offense, and I'm going to roll with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for today. I just want to, with that 12th overall selection, it is possible that I could get Devontae Adams and an Aaron Jones, but very, very unlikely. It's also definitely not going to be likely that I have Ezekiel Elliott drop to me. So those are the other two teams that I'm looking to kind of start stacking outside of maybe the Chargers or the Seahawks. But I'm going to roll with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think from this 12th overall selection, it is doable. As this draft is kicking off, we've got CMC, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, and Derrick Henry. Really no big surprises there. Now we got Zeke off the board and Aaron Jones. So we do know that we will definitely not be able to target the Dallas Cowboys or the Green Bay Packers offenses, respectively. So, obviously, with this 12th and 13th overall pick, I probably won't be targeting either any of the Tampa Bay players, but closer to those, picks 36 and 37, I'm definitely going to be targeting a receiver. And then kind of the question is, does Tom Brady fall to us at pick 60 and 61? We're going to hope so, because I think that it's going to be too much of a reach to select him before. But if I feel like I have to, maybe I will. We'll see as the draft keeps going. So we now see Nick Chubb and Saquon Barkley off the board, a big run at the running back position, and knowing that those Tampa Bay Buccaneer running backs are running backs that I will be getting in much later rounds. I'm not too worried, about drafting RBs right now. I'm definitely going to need to do so. So I'm kind of hoping that like a Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris fall here, but it looks like either Devontae Adams or Stephon Diggs is going to fall to us as well. So I will more than likely be targeting one of them, as we've seen two of the Chiefs players off the board in that of Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and now Devontae Adams off the board. I did do a 8-man mock draft where I targeted the Chiefs, the Chiefs trio, and that of Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Patty Mahomes. Did not get Clyde Edwards-Helaire in that draft, but I did end up with those three, so check that out too. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to snag up a receiver and an RB1, and we're going to move right along. That helps me feel much more, solidified to the start of this roster. As we know, it kind of gives us some diversification as well, that we are, like I said, as we know, we are going to be targeting some Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it's possible to potentially get Chris Godwin and Mike Evans here. So it'll definitely be interesting to see. And it definitely, typically when you're drafting, you're targeting position, maybe with a couple specific players, but a little bit more anticipation when you're targeting, 4 or 5, 3 or 4 very specific players. So this should be interesting, and definitely going to be fun, as well as we've seen D-Hop off the board, Austin Eckler, and Najee Harris. So we've still got Calvin Ridley, Antonio Gibson, Justin Jefferson, all here in the second round. DK Metcalf, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, David Montgomery, a lot of really good players. We still have yet to see a quarterback taken. We've still got tight end and Darren Waller available. So a lot of good players. But like I said, it's only the second round, and we will just see how this continues to progress. So like I said, I am kind of big on stacking these Tampa Bay players, Green Bay Packers, Dallas Cowboys, but I also like the Chargers as a team you can stack. as well as the Seattle Seahawks. So let me know what you guys think down below if there's any other offenses that you guys are targeting multiple players from. And keep in mind that with this specific strategy, it doesn't necessarily work dependent on the number of teams within your league. So of course, being an 8, 10, 12, 14, etc. league, it's going to be more difficult to utilize this strategy dependent on number of teams. So, and for example, with the Chiefs, it's definitely possible in an 8-man league, but as soon as you move to 10, it's very unlikely, right? uh, it's possible in an 8-man league to do the Green Bay Packers super stack, but once again, you'd have to get pretty fortunate in the first round, probably be at pick 8, and hope that Aaron Jones falls to you and that Devontae Adams did not get snatched up. Picks 1 through 7 as well. So it depends, and I'm trying to look at it from a more realistic outlook. In a 12-man league, I do think it's possible to do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for example. And I think if you have the right selections, the Dallas Cowboys are definitely doable. The Seattle Seahawks are doable, and the Chargers are doable. But we will keep moving along as we've seen a lot of talent drained here at the end of the second round. A.J. Brown, Joe Mixon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DK Metcalf. And now in the third round, we've got Terry McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb, George Kittle, David Montgomery, and Darren Waller as now J.K. Dobbins goes. So it does look like Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are right on that tier. We might miss them in my strategy, might be down the drain. So if two of those guys go or one of those guys goes, let me know in the comments down below if you think this strategy was an awful idea or not. But there is still time as we have 3 picks and a lot of good players on the board, including Patrick Mahomes is still sinking around as we see Chris Carson off the board. Chris Godwin, our guy who we really wanted off the board, but Patty Mahomes saved us, and we will go ahead and select Mike Evans, but we do want to use this time on the clock to evaluate who else we would like, and I am going to check the running back position very quickly, and I do see Miles Sanders and Josh Jacobs kind of my top 2 selections. So we'll go ahead and get our guy in that of Mike Evans, and I do think that Brady will fall to us with that next selection. So we'll check if there's any elite tight ends. I do like that of a TJ Hawkinson, but I think that the running back position is a little bit more needed. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to go with my guy. You guys have seen me take him in a lot of drafts, in that of Josh Jacobs. And we know that I am probably going to actually target both Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones. He's second. Since I have those back-to-back selections, I think it's doable. So we did accomplish one of our player selections here, and that of Mike Evans. We came very close to getting both Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. If they were available, I would have certainly done it. But we will survive, and we will keep on moving. We have 21 more selections until we pick, as we see Miles Sanders and Amari Cooper off the board. Still a lot of talent at the receiver position left. A couple good running backs who I would not mind snagging up, but remember, we got to go ahead and flag our Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So let me know what you guys think to the start of this offense as well. I mean, I think we have 2 pretty good receivers and 2 pretty good running backs as well to kind of help fill out this offense, although one of them is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers player. But I feel just fine. I was relatively close to taking a TJ Hawkinson there, but I think that the other advantage to this strategy is that it lets you kind of sit back and wait in terms of the tight end and to some degree the quarterback position as well, and kind of snag up a couple receivers and running backs in earlier rounds. As here in the 4th round, after my selection of Josh Jacobs, we've seen Miles Sanders, Amari Cooper, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, and Josh Allen all off the board, which have been followed by the selection of Travis Etienne and Julio Jones. So we've got Lamar Jackson on the board, Tyler Lockett, TJ Hawkinson, Adam Thielen. A lot of good talent. We still see Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Mark Andrews. So at the tight end and quarterback position, it's kind of working to our advantage. There are a lot of good players, a lot of big names still on the board that people are going to want to snag up. So I will say that kind of the disadvantage that we are at is where we're selecting, right? We've got picks 60 and 61, and then we don't pick again until 84 and 85. We've got Tom Brady ranked right in between the middle with a ranking of 74. So if I go out and get him, it is probably going to have to be a little bit of a reach, or else we're going to be sitting here sweating and crossing our fingers. I definitely think it's possible that he will fall to us, but I don't know if I want to play that game. Uh, so we might be reaching here, and I don't have too much time to make that decision as we see both Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray thinning out that quarterback position here at the end of the fourth round. And now at the top of the fifth, we see Kyle Pitts and Tyler Lockett off the board, followed by that of Chase Claypool and Russell Wilson. So those quarterbacks getting thinner and thinner, and I won't be surprised if both Dak Prescott and Justin Herbert go here, which would probably make me feel a little bit better about going out and getting Tom Brady here, who, if I'm not mistaken, has moved up on these Yahoo rankings just a tad. So, I mean, I do personally believe that Brady is going to have a phenomenal year. We did see what he was able to do with a very unorthodox offseason last year, first year in that offense. Some shaky, a little bit of a shaky start, but still over 4,600 passing yards, 40 touchdowns, and only 12 interceptions. And don't forget, right here, Tom Brady. 3 rushing touchdowns last year, projected to have 0 this year, though. Only 6 rushing yards. But I certainly think these numbers that they have him projected at 5,200 passing yards. I would say I personally think he's going to have more than 38 passing touchdowns, closer to 40 plus. So I do think that he's worth the draft selection, but we've still got Dak Prescott and Justin Herbert on the board. So retrospectively, we knew that we couldn't get Zeke with that selection that we had. We certainly could have got Amari Cooper and or CeeDee Lamb, but at this point, it looks like we're going out and we're getting Tom Brady. So I know that people are not going to like this. There's a lot of talent on the board, and I might take a risk, man. Let's go ahead. Let's see who has a QB and who doesn't. That's one team with a QB, 2, 3, 4. I just don't think there's enough teams. I just don't think he'll fall to us. There's a lot of teams who still need to fill the quarterback position. Dak Prescott's available, and Justin Herbert's available. So this is a great note and good in terms of conducting the strategy that maybe we should have gone with the Chargers. We could have, if I'm not mistaken, we had the ability to go out and get, let's see here, we could have got Austin Eckler, and I'm sure that we could have targeted Keenan Allen as well. So it's a good note in terms of this strategy, but we know that we have to go and get Tom Brady here. I really like the fact that my guy Mark Andrews is available. So let's add top talent at the position and let's go get our guy Tom Brady. So some of you might think that I just reached there for both the tight end and especially for the specific quarterback that I got, but we are following our strategy, and I think that taking that top talent and that of Mark Andrews certainly helps. And now our main target for this draft is those Tampa Bay running backs as well. Don't forget about my guy, Antonio Brown. So still a lot of talent left, but our overall roster is filled out, right? We have got our quarterback, we have got our tight end, and now we just need to go RB receiver heavy. But keep in mind, we do have the connection of Tom Brady and Mike Evans locked up, and we still have another very good receiver one, and we have 2 solid running backs who are going to get a lot of touches in their respective offenses. So I'm very happy with both Josh Jacobs and Jonathan Taylor. And we went out and maybe reached a little for a tight end, but I'm happy with the selection of Mark Andrews. I think that it really solidifies this offense with a star player. So Jerry Judy, AB, and then Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones are my top targets here. And we know that we want to end up with at least one of these running backs from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So since I have selected there with the selections of Mark Andrews and Tom Brady at the end of the fifth and top of the sixth round, we have seen Dak Prescott, T. Higgins, Tyler Higbee, Justin Herbert, and Chase Edmonds off the board. Now, as much faith as I have in Tom Brady, I don't want you guys to think that I'm low on Dak Prescott or that I'm low on Justin Herbert. They are both going to have fantastic years. And like I stated at the beginning of this video, they are both two quarterbacks who I also think you can go out and target their offenses and select them as your quarterback and go out and get one of their receivers and their running backs, maybe two of those receivers, right? Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, CeeDee Lamb, and/or Amari Cooper, and then Michael Gallup in later rounds. So two offenses that I definitely want to try this strategy with as well. But kind of the only thing is you have to ensure, that you're going to be able to select Zeke at the right selection. And he's going anywhere from pick 2 to pick 6 right now. So that's a very difficult variable. And then on top of that, in terms of Austin Eckler, you have to kind of be picking at the end of the first. For the Green Bay Packers, I think it's very difficult. Not a team we were really discussing with these quarterbacks, but you have to hope that Aaron Jones falls to you outside of the first 7. And then Devontae Adams also falls to you. And I think that's probably only likely to happen in an 8-man league as we see Robert Tonyan and Aaron Rodgers off the board now. So 2 Green Bay Packers right in a row, followed by the selection of Noah Fant. How are you guys? Let me know in the comments down below while you guys are smashing that like button and subbing for more feature content like this, baby. Let me know how you are evaluating Noah Fant coming into this season as we see our guy Jerry Judy off the board, a big punch in the gut. But I am interested to see, people's overall thoughts on Jerry Judy and how you guys feel about him and all of that. Kind of a weird way of asking it, right? But just let me know because I am kind of interested. I mean, they've got him projected at 948 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns, which would certainly be a very, very good year. We don't necessarily know who the starting quarterback is going to be in that offense. So I'm interested to get people's thoughts on Noah Fant. Do you think he's going to be as elite as almost 1,000 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns? Or do you think he goes more tuned to what we saw last year, under 700 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns, which still, by all means, is a pretty good season. So 2 more selections until we pick. And as much as I want to pick both Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones here, just to ensure that we have whomever is going to be the starting running back on that team, I do believe that we need to go out and select another receiver. So I personally am higher on Ronald Jones the second. So that's going to be my guy I select here. And then part of me really wants to take AB here, but I think that a Juju Smith-Schuster presents a little bit more value and a little bit more diversification here. So we'll go ahead and get him. And we're going to hope, as that receiver position starts to look very thin, we're going to hope that AB falls to us. And if he doesn't, then we know that we do have Mike Evans. But you start to look at some of the bye weeks overlapping here. That is one issue with this strategy. And then just coincidentally, I've got 2 players on bye week 8, and 2 on week 7 now. So, you do want to add some diversification to your roster. You don't necessarily want it to be top down, the same team, but part of it will definitely be the same team within this strategy. So, at this point, we want to see who is available and really just add anyone with any upside to our queue. And we will take a second to do so. I think that Dallas Goddard is going to have a really good year, man. I'm recording this the morning after that week 1 preseason game. Jalen Hurts, I mean, I know it's preseason, take it with a grain of salt, but he looked good. That Philly offense looked really interesting, and I think that Dallas Goddard is going to be a huge part of that team. But definitely a lot to track from a fantasy perspective in that Philadelphia offense. I think we might have some surprises coming out of that team. So, definitely a team to monitor as week 1 gets closer and throughout the regular season as well. So, adding a lot of players to my queue here, just making sure that we have all the top talent available. Miko Hardman is someone you can get super freaking late in these mock drafts right now. Let me know what you guys feel about Miko Hardman, someone who we would love to see as we see Antonio Brown selected. We will not, uh, we will not have AB on this team or run on Tampa Bay players other than Leonard Fournette, who is still available, is essentially done at this point, other than Gronk, who's going to be a surprise, but I am targeting Gronk as well. But anyways, I think there are certainly a lot of good players here. Will Fuller getting a little banged up this past week, if I'm not mistaken. Something to keep an eye on. Kind of the main concern around Will Fuller are those injuries. We know he's going to miss week 1. At this point in the draft, I think that he is um, still enough talent to select, looking at a receiver position. And, if you do go with this strategy and you fill in that tight end early in a 12-man league, at least this is what you're looking at. Potentially just 3 receivers, 3 running backs, a tight end, and a quarterback. So if you lead more position or skill position set, early on, and you want that those wide receivers and running backs filled a lot more early, then this might not be the right strategy for you. Or if it is, and you may have to skip the tight end position. So just keep that in mind. In a 12-man league, you're not going to have as much depth, per se, but I am still happy with this. As we see, Leonard Fournette still available, someone who I'm definitely considering taking here. But we do see David Johnson and Melvin Gordon available, who I think present pretty good value. But this team would really heavily be leaning on Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs, and then hoping that one of those Tampa Bay running backs comes out and starts lighting the league on fire, right? But I certainly think it could happen, and I think that our receivers are actually quite strong. So Leonard Fournette, just staying true to the strategy, might be my guy here. And I might be reaching for a Mike Williams here because I really, really want. There goes Leonard Fournette. All right, so Leonard Fournette is off the board, and Mike Williams is someone that, excuse me, a little sinusy this morning, is someone that I would really like on this team as well. So we do see Kenyon Drake available, someone I could stack with Josh Jacobs. But I'm just going to go out and I'm going to get Melvin Gordon the third and kind of fill out that running back position. And then we're going to add Mike Williams, although a lot of receivers here that I really like. Michael Gallup is still available. Cortland Sutton is still available. Someone who I have a pretty big question mark around just in terms of recovering from injury, as he did just get selected. But he still has the potential to be the #1 receiver. But you guys have heard me talk about it a million times. Jerry Judy is my guy all the way, and I think that he is going to have an excellent season overall. So, but at this point in the draft, when you're picking for upside and trying to fill out, each position, I do think he is a great selection. So we will continue to monitor just about each and every player with upside and potential to be a #1 or #2 receiver, and anyone who has potential to be a #1 or #2 running back, or at least heavy to moderate involvement at the running back position. And keep in mind that Rob Gronkowski is someone I am heavily, heavily targeting in this current mock draft. So I certainly think there are a lot of good players still on the board. I am going to also be targeting Michael Thomas because I do think he gives us the best potential to be a sure number one receiver. Let me know how you guys are evaluating Michael Thomas, if you're going out and getting him, if you are hesitant to draft him. If you don't know, I mean, we don't really know if he's going to be a Saint. We just saw Gronk off the board. Uh, Big punch to the gut, but it's okay. I mean, we went out and we got a tight end early. We just wanted Gronk on this team to help kind of secure this strategy. So we did only end up with Tom Brady, Mike Evans, as well as Ronald Jones, the second. But we will keep on keeping on, right? So still a lot of good players on the board at this point. If Kenyon Drake falls to us, I would select him even with Josh Jacobs already on this team, as we now see Michael Thomas off the board, whom I was just talking about. So he will not be on our team. But we've kind of been bouncing back between running back, receiver, right? And we will pretty much continue to do so and just kind of select whomever presents the best upside. So I'm going to scoop my face down here. Boop. And we will kind of evaluate who we have on our board as things are getting thin very quickly. I really like, in PPR leagues, half PPR leagues, I really like Naheem Hines right now. I do think that he is going to benefit heavily from those injuries that we've seen to the Indianapolis Colts offense. So I think he is certainly someone to keep an eye on. My co-host Steven is a huge diehard Colts fan, and apparently out of camp, Naheem Hines has been targeted quite a bit. So definitely something to keep an eye on. And we do know that he already presents that PPR value regardless of who is playing the quarterback position. So we will see how that shapes out. And I do like Curtis Samuel at this point in the draft presents some really, really good value. And I do want to give a quick update. If you guys have not seen, someone who I've been talking about a lot in these rounds of mock drafts is Rashad Bateman, who is dealing with a groin injury, I believe, and will need surgery. He will be out, but he should be back at some point in September. So still someone to keep an eye on, but at this point, probably not someone you're going to be drafting in any fantasy leagues, which I really, really do hate because I think his stock was starting to rise through the roof. But we wish him a speedy recovery and a stellar rookie year as well. So, as we see Kirk Cousins off the board, I haven't really been going over these players, but we've seen a lot of players start to go very quickly here in round 10 and round 11. But it is now my turn to draft, and I think that Naheem Hines is probably the best value left at running back for the rest of the draft. So we will go ahead and pick him up. I do like JD McKissick as well from a PPR standpoint, and I feel pretty good overall about our receivers. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to skip on Corey Davis, Jarvis Landry, the Patriots tight ends, as well as Evan Ingram, and I'm going to draft JD McKissick because I simply think that from a PPR standpoint, Naheem Hines and JD McKissick are going to have very good years. But also, I do believe that our running back position, although we do have Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, and who I think will be the RB1 at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we are relatively thin at the running back position. And I do think that it's always important to have depth at the running back position if you're going to have depth anywhere, as a receiver position. Looks pretty strong in my opinion. So I'm scooting my face away up here. And let's just check how many more players I can actually draft. Yeah, I thought so. We have one left. So I will probably take a quarterback, receiver, or tight end. We were just kind of evaluate how that goes, but I am going to go ahead and start breaking down this roster in the meantime. So, like I said, we went out and we followed the Tampa Bay Buccaneer offense heavy strategy. We are going to secure a trio within, this respective offense in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So at the quarterback position, we have the greatest of all time. Some might debate Peyton Manning. Let me know in the comments down below. But Tom Brady, quarterback, our guy, he's going to have a lights out year. On top of that, we went out and we got Mike Evans, one of his favorite red zone targets, 13 receiving touchdowns last year. May have liked to get Chris Godwin, with that selection from a PPR standpoint, but he did get selected, so we went out and we picked up Mike Evans. I'm still happy with that selection. In a later round, we went out and we got Ronald Jones. The second, Leonard Fournette fell just right out of our grasp, as did Rob Gronkowski, but we still got a trio from the Bucs, and we are happy with that because we do have Stephon Diggs as our wide receiver one, who's going to absolutely light it up, be an extreme target haul, and have a lights out freaking year. At the running back position, we have that of Jonathan Taylor, and I think where we got him with pick 11 or 12 it was. Still a lot of good value. He's still going to be, having an extremely heavy workload this year, regardless of any injuries. So, while I am a little hesitant before like pick 10, I think afterwards he's an absolute steal. I still think he's going to have a very good year. So then we went out and we reached a little bit right for Josh Jacobs, but that's one of my guys and someone that I'm happy to draft time and time again. Outside of that, at the receiver and running back position, we've got Juju Smith-Schuster and Mike Williams to kind of present us with a little bit more depth out of those two very strong receivers we got early on. At the running back position, we also have that of Melvin Gordon, who we hope becomes the number one running back. A little bit of a question mark, might have some competition there, but kind of helps solidify the running back position. And then we went out and we got to PPR, heavy workload PPR guys, and that of Naheem Hines and J.D. McKissick. So I am happy with those selections, especially where we drafted them. I just don't think there was a lot of depth at the running back position left. So very happy with this team overall. Remember, this is a 12-man league, so a little bit deeper. We still went out and we got a solid QB, a solid tight end, and we were able to fill in the running back and receiver position pretty heavily, and still were able to target that Tampa Bay offense all the way through. So we will go ahead and check who's available. It looks like tight ends are the most valuable position left, but I don't know if they're going to fall to us. So we may be taking, and I'm scooting my face down here. We may be taking McCole Hardman. I've got Tua on the board. You guys know Tua is my guy. And now we see Hardman off the board. So I might just go ahead and select Tua and call it a day. And then we would know that a defense and or a kicker would fall to us as well. With this team overall, I probably wouldn't really see the need to forfeit a kicker, other than adding another tight end and a backup quarterback. And I think these guys might not last, and I'm still a little hesitant around that of a Johnny Smith and a Hunter Henry, although I like them both a lot. Hunter Henry, who's just selected, a little banged up, right? And Johnny Smith, someone who I think will definitely benefit from that, but we don't know exactly how that New England Patriots offense is going to roll out. As we see Johnny Smith now selected, looks like we've got a lot of auto drafters, so also a good time to exit here. But if you guys watch any of that preseason game, the Washington football team and the New England Patriots, Mac Jones out there, baby. Big Mac, mac and cheese. I don't know, man. He looks a little crispy out there, right? I think he's going to have a lot of potential to start this year, so we'll see what happens. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Tua, and then we'll see what defenses are available here. Cleveland Browns still available, so I think they're going to be able to cause a lot of turnovers, but I do like New England, Indianapolis, and Miami here as well. So we know that a kicker is going to fall to us, and that if we really wanted to, we could forfeit them and take another skill position player. I already cracked down this whole roster for you guys, so I am going to cap off this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you like this strategy. If you guys want to see me do some more of these super stack offense strategies, I'm certainly happy to do so. But outside of that, let me know what type of strategies are going to help you the most in your upcoming fantasy football year, baby. It is right around the corner. As every day passes, we are one day closer to football. We've already seen preseason start. We've already seen the scramble and fantasy preparation start, but that is what we are here for here at the Catch. Shout out to all of our new subscribers, all the Catch fam. We appreciate you guys. Anyone who's new to this channel, I really appreciate it if you guys go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe for more future content like this, and drop a comment down below on what you thought of this draft. I thank you very much for watching and or listening, and remember, you saw it here on the Catch.